not making it to the next level, it's because you can't keep your nose clean or you can't stay focused because there's just so many distractions, like we know. And we just try to prepare him for that and just.
What's up? It's Mike Mal, and you are listening to the Athletor podcast, where we dive into the processes, mindsets, strategies of some of the most successful athletes and coaches from all walks of life. Athletor podcast. This week's episode, Coach Will Weber from Wyoming Seminary jumps on the podcast, and we talk about the unbelievable success that SEM has had, particularly in the last 6 years. They've put 26 guys at the NCAA Division I level in the last 6 years. The numbers involved with this stuff are absolutely mind-boggling. He gets into that. He's been there for 12 years. He talks about how Coach Scott Green helped build that program from the ground up. There's a ton of stuff that you are going to want to see. All that and more coming up on the podcast. Don't miss it. Athleter Podcast, Coach Weber, thank you so much for jumping on, man. I got a ton to talk to you about, sir.
Yeah, appreciate you having me. Absolutely.
Okay, so it's funny, man. We talk to a lot of NCAA coaches. We talk to a lot of high level high school coaches, and the theme is becoming extremely evident. It, if you're not if you're not at one of the top 20 schools in the country right now, it's real hard for you to compete at a national level. Okay, it's very difficult. So knowing that, how do you approach, like, you have to be able to take in a lot of different information, right? You have to take in recruiting information, you have to take in fundraising information, you got to take in tactical information, training information, all this stuff. What does your brain automatically go to? And being that it's you haven't been the head coach at SEM for very long, is it
Mhm.
different than what you thought it was going to be? Now you've been there for what, 12 years?
Yeah, it's my 12th year. So I kind of started like gearing up towards that, thinking a lot more like when Coach Robinson came in, just helping him out a lot. I kind of knew it was like the resident, the guy with the most time here besides Coach Ravelli. So like try to help him as much as possible and turn that like help me kind of think about being a head coach. When he took the job, I wasn't even thinking about it when Coach Green was here. Just kind of shifted gears a little bit there. And I think to piggyback or to circle back what you're saying, college prep, right? I think that's like a big part of like even in our name, we're really getting guys ready for the college scene. And if you're not on that national circuit, if you will, one that's going to hurt you. I think getting our guys, we have like a lot of PA state champs that will come in. They only have to gear up a couple times a year. They might have like I mean, if you get like an Ironman, then you're not going to compete again at something hard until your state tournament. Where every week, we're towing the line against a top five team, top 10 team in the country, and that's just a different type of preparation. It's not like there's no lulls in your preparation, right? Like you're staying locked in and staying ready throughout the season, and that's grades and stress and diet and all those things that factor into that. So I think that really helps us, and then just the competition in the room. We're working on getting back up to like this year. We should probably only have about 30, 31 kids, but ideally like to get up to about 36 kids, and a lot of those guys you have trying to get back to that national champ on national champ wrestle off, right? Like that's the idea. And then, again, college prep, like that's what you're gonna have to face. And if I think a lot of guys that are the guy at their room, you either make or break when you get to that next level, where we're gonna prepare you and not let you break, right? We're gonna let you tread water a little bit, but once you start to drown, we'll throw you your buoy and bring you back up and talk to you and tell you about it and hopefully work you through it. So I think that process in itself is really, really important to be successful at the next level.
It's interesting, man. My son wrestles for Poway, right?
Mm.
And he was a junior this past year, and it's his first time in the lineup, right? And does well, makes the lineup, does pretty well and at the state tournament and stuff like that. And now he's talking to these college coaches. And it's interesting because like the mindset has to be, I'm going to work hard enough to make the team. And in that process, I'll get good enough to hit whatever goals. I,
Right.
but like, I don't
Mhm.
think like I couldn't have that. Like, not that I couldn't, but I didn't have that as a kid. Like
Different, right?
I started as a freshman and I kicked the holy hell out of a senior, to make the team, right? And that is just not an occurrence now at these top
Right.
10 programs, right? What type of individual do you have to vet out, right? Because like an eighth grader, usually 99 out of 100 eighth graders that are wrestling the national circuit, they're the best kid in their little league team for sure. What
Yeah.
type of kid do you have to vet out to say, look, man, this is not the same thing? Hey, don't go anywhere. It's Mike. We'll get back to the podcast in just a second. We got to pay the bills though. Do you have an athlete that's looking to break into the social media space? We at athletorlive.com have a brand new in-depth tutorial done by none other than Caden Henshaw. If you don't know who Caden is, he's not even a Division I wrestler, yet he's got hundreds of thousands of engaged followers. Learn how to create engaging content, grow your followers, and open up new opportunities in the NIL space. Go to athletorlive.com/Caden and we'll give you the first module completely free.
I mean, I think a lot of it comes like the preparation right before they get here. What are their coaches kind of put in their ear? And usually the guys that are kind of pumped up as like you're the best thing is since sliced bread. They usually have a little bit of struggle unless they're just really that good, right? But
Sure.
like a lot of guys
There
are
are
going to
those
come
kids.
in, yeah,
Sure.
right. But most of the time, like they're going to come in and eat some of that humble pie and and that's where that picking up process, right? That empowering process, like you were really good, but you got to get a lot better. And I think most kids will receive. I think we have a good way of delivering that message. It's a positive way. It's not a negative, right? It's a reality.
What
So,
does that
kind of
conversation
empowering.
no, so here no, Joel and I are reading this book 10 to 25. What does that conversation sound like? Right? Like it's one thing saying to a 120-pound eighth grader, like, yeah, you cut down to 106, you can make this team tomorrow because you're going to be a 106 pounder. But it's a very different conversation when you have a 130-pound incoming freshman. You have to say, look, I know you think you're good, but what does that conversation look like?
Yeah. I mean, I think again, goal setting is really important in that. Like where you're trying to get to. And again, you were really good, but you have number one guy in the country at your weight, and like you have two options. You can run from that and not come, or figure it out, work with him. Obviously you're trying to beat him. We do two sets of wrestle-offs. I think that's something that kind of separates us a little bit. So we'll do the initial wrestle-off in the beginning of the season. And I know like a lot of guys like, okay, that's our starter. Let's focus and give him all the energy. But like I just believe in development and try to give all of our guys, a lot of love and treat them like they all could be a national champion. So like we do a second wrestle off after the beginning of the year for the postseason. So I think that keeps guys hungry and like lets them like kind of figure that out. Like you're gonna have a shot, two shots at this guy. Um, and just really empowering and being honest with them. That's one thing I think we since Coach Green has been here, like we can take a high level athlete and we're gonna not discipline them, but like we're gonna be honest with them, right? I'm not gonna blow smoke up your butt and make you think you're doing all these things right, regardless of what you're doing on the mat, right? You can win all the matches out there and still, have things you need to improve on before you go to college and compete at a high level, right? So it's like it's not just about winning or losing. How you're training, how you're preparing, how you're living your life, and just being real with them and honest and show them you care and let them know it's coming from a place of like for them, right? It's not for us. We really work hard on nothing we do is in the jeopardy of an individual, right? Like I'll never sacrifice an individual to win a team anything, right? It's not my ego is very secure in that. And it's not about me, it's about them. So once they learn you care and know that like your intent is meaningful, usually they respond and most of them want to get good and be that guy, just sometimes they don't know what it takes.
Sure. Okay, let's do a little bit of backstory, a little origin story from you. When did you grow up in the area? Did you grow
I
up near?
did. Yep. Yep.
So
Yep.
so
Little like a school, Lake Lehman High School.
okay.
Couple good wrestlers, like Ricky, Rocky Bonomo, and Ricky's in three-time national champ, stuff like that.
The
But
greatest clinicians of all time, by the
right,
way.
yeah, the ninjas. So yeah, I grew up with that. Um, so good pedigree, come from there, had a good high school. Was going to wrestle at Bloomsburg. Wasn't really doing the right things, wasn't too squared away myself. So that's when me and my buddy joined the Marines. So did 4 years in the Marines. Came out, got right into coaching. And then kind of as I developed as a coach, changed a lot. Tom Ryan had a big influence on me. Coach Popolizio, guys like that, where they were just talking a lot more about character and development in that regard more so than wrestling. And it was just like, just got me thinking. And then Coach Green was a great mentor. Really kind of showed me the ropes. Really held on to his pocket a lot. Just watched him and studied and. I started finding my own fulfillment from doing this. You know, Being a Marine, it was hard to adjust back into civilian life a lot. Like what is meaningful, what is purpose, giving me my sense of purpose, just having a hard time with that. And the more I kind of dug into coaching and like coaching like that, changing young men's lives, that's what got me hooked. And, I think our blueprint for that, chasing academics, we have a really good academic institution. So like living the life, right? And that's kind of what gives me fulfillment and getting these guys to make the most out of life.
You know, that's awesome. It truly is impactful, okay? But I kind of keep going back to how this thing started,
Okay,
right? Like
okay.
Scott Green t had a vision
Mhm.
for Wyoming Seminary wrestling that I don't know that many people shared. How about that?
Yeah,
Because
agreed. So actually, it even goes back before him. So when I first got out of Marines, I remember coming back up in the room and training with like Mike McMullen, right? So before him, the coach that actually got Sem back on the map, John Gordon, right? Nicky Gordon, I think he went to NC State. He's now a Marine doing big things, but his dad, he took the head, not because of wrestling, like wrestling was terrible here, mind you.
right,
So, took the job as he got like the head of school.
okay,
Brought his kid, wrestled, he was on the travel teams. He kind of realized he had some authority there to bring in some guys and make some things happen, and kind of just started building a team around his kid. Got the McMullen brothers, keep building it. I think by 2007 they had their first like top 10 finish. I don't know if you've ever been out here. You'll have to come out check out our wrestling room. It's pretty unique. It's a big, large bank.
it's a bank. It's
Yeah,
amazing. It's
yeah,
so
it's
much
pretty
fun.
cool. So then that was gifted to us through a donor. They found their first donor that was really kind of influential, and started giving us the means to go out and recruit guys and travel. And then Coach Green kind of took it over and really had that like he's just that wizard of like vision, right? In just so many ways. And just really started building this into like what we, are now, I think is like our identity. And that's what I believe, and that's why I try to carry on that legacy. Just about the total human of athletics, academics, character, and using wrestling as that vehicle to take you to places that, you might not have got to otherwise. Sent a lot of guys to Harvard, Ivy League institutions, and Luke Willowdall just won a national title. So it's like, kind of whatever your cup of tea is like you can come here and just chase greatness. And um, that's kind of what we expect from you. That's kind of what we demand from you. There's a lot of high standards here. They're with us all the time. So we don't cut them a lot of slack and that they respond well.
Yeah, the top kids in the country generally do. I mean, they're there for a reason, right? Tell me one thing that you took away from Scott Green's coaching style, right?
Um, Man. I almost want to say like his forethought. Like he was just like I feel like Coach just never got ambushed in any situation. On the mat again, like we're pretty good at that, but just in any situation. I mean, he was just always like a visionary, like kind of thinking that next step ahead. How can it get better? And like he was just already there. So just kind of like almost letting your imagination go and dreaming, having big dreams, and trying to make it happen. And he was really good at
If
that. And
you know what
organization. I mean, organization.
organization, well, he's a master administrator.
Yeah, yeah.
Like one of the things that I noticed when I went there, I think I came for like a Blair dual meet at Sem. Uh, yeah, like just the amount. of things that he can delegate and take on himself it
Sure.
was impressive. Um, okay, you know, uh, we talk about the best high school wrestling programs in the country, and right now it's Lake Highland is really, really good. There's some public schools in there that are like Buchanan is doing really, really well. Um, but perennially, and we're taking this data from what we call the NIL era, because in my opinion, from 2020 and on is a different era of wrestling than
Sure.
2019 and
Sure.
before. It's just a different era of wrestling. We're in a business climate that we've never been in before. So we have to kind of it can be apples to apples, but truthfully, it's probably apples to oranges, right? The data that Joel's going to show you right now is going to it's pretty impressive stuff. Joel, let's run them through some of the numbers here, brother. So, okay, Joel, you want to run them through this?
Yeah, so we looked at uh, Matt Scout's big board from 2020 to 2026, 1,750 ranked recruits from 976 high schools. 99 of those became All-Americans, and 15 of those became national champions. From there, we look at kind of the totals and who had obviously the most recruits on that list, and so we can see here by a pretty wide margin, Wyoming Sem in first place here with 26 total recruits over this time period. Mike, feel free to jump in or stop me if you
No,
want
no,
to.
no. Go, dude, like let's go back one time because that's yeah, right there. Dude, 10 more than Blair and Buchanan and Lake Highland Prep. Now, Lake Highland Prep has had a pretty good run over the last 2 years, so something tells me that they're going to jump up. Um, but
Sure. Yeah.
but you've been there for this amount of time. Did you know that you like obviously you guys knew you were good, right? But like if you're looking at this big picture, 26 guys that are going to Division I schools, like that's amazing.
Yeah. So, we when I first got here, I think it was a little bit different. We had guys. I think we had four number one guys: Chris Weiler, Nick Reenan, Mason Manville, and somebody else. And some of them went in and they wrestled at college. No All Americans, had like decent careers, and that was kind of like one of our best classes. And it was like, not that they weren't hardworking or anything, but again, there was a little bit more catering to them because they were so good, and they won at this level. And like, Coach Bartlett, Coach Green, we kind of just like got together and started seeing like what is the difference? How are we going to change that? And it was really just holding them accountable. And I think that's when I started really feeling good about what we were doing, is seeing these guys not just go to the next level, right? That is your first mission, is to win the college admission process and set them up for life. But like, we love wrestling. Like we want to compete and see what we're doing translates to the next level. And, surely little by little, we just started gaining that momentum where guys would get the start, now they're national qualifiers. Now we have All Americans. This year alone, we just had our second four-time, All-American, Lachlan McNeil. Before him, Mike McMullen was the last guy to do that. So it was, a big gap in between there. We got our first national champ in Lilidal. But we had, I want to say it was over 17, I think it was like 18 guys wrestle the conference championships in Division I this year.
That's
I
why.
think
Eighteen guys.
14, oh, I'm sorry, what's that?
18 guys?
That wrestled in the conference championships. Yep. And I
18
had I had the actual numbers down. I could see how many of them actually graduated, but I think it was like 12 or 13 that graduated from here. Other guys that were here for 1 or 2 years. Um, and then I think there was 15 guys at the NCAA's, and we had a bunch of All-Americans, and so that's just like really like that's what really makes you feel good. It also lets you know like what we're doing here, and I think it just goes about that accountability, right? We don't blow smoke. We let them know what it's going to take at the next level, and a lot of it's off the mat. To be honest, to me, if you're not making it to the next level, it's because you can't keep your nose clean or you can't stay focused because there's just so many distractions, like we know, and like. we just try to prepare them for that and just give them as much information and get them ready
Yeah.
for that next level and not get ambushed anywhere. So
Yeah.
seeing numbers like this, just that's what it's all about. That's
Dude, it's crazy. Joel, before we go to the next slide, they s- Coach, you said you had 15 national qualifiers
yeah.
last.
I actually let me look at that.
What, Joel, what percentage of the 330 is that?
Say that one more time.
So 15 national qualifiers, there's 330 altogether. That's got to be,
Actually, Coach Green too, he threw out a stat. There's a crazy number of prep schools. How many guys were all Americans that were national prep guys too? That's a
yeah,
pretty
yeah.
astonishing number. I was impressed with that.
The 4.5% of
4.5% of the national tournament went to Wyoming Seminary. That's bananas to me. That's bananas. Okay. Um, Joel, hit that next slide. Let's take a look at this real quick. Okay. Leaders by class. SEM in 2020, SEM again in 22, SEM again in 23, SEM again in 24, St. Joe's Montville, Jersey stand up, and then Buchanan in 26. Um, that's that's pretty impressive stuff. Go ahead. Let's hit to the next slide. All Americans. Is this data correct here, Coach? In the last 6 years?
Yeah, so I
Little,
mean, it kind of depends on how you look at it. Like we don't, try not to take credit for anybody, but a lot of guys will come here for a year and like you don't want to not credit that time there either. So like I always put like graduated or just affiliated with, that way I'm not trying to like take any
sure.
crowd from anybody. But we had Ethan Styles was here. I mean Gabe, you have Meyer, Lachlan. Who else was All American? The Cannon All American this year. I mean Brandon Cannon was here before he got sick. Carter Schubert, I know, I think he was around to 12. Spratley was here.
Sure.
Um, uh, Styles, Logan
Yeah.
Rosinski, Arnold, Shapiro. So,
That's unbelievable, man.
yeah.
Okay, hit that next slide. Okay, this brings me to um, fundraising. Now, these numbers are the best we could pull, right? And so the numbers are interesting to me because we're seeing this sport go the way of fundraising, right? Now, it says Blair has 55 million. That's not for wrestling. Everyone knows that. That's just the endowment for the
The
school.
endowment, sure.
Right. And then 72 for Lake Highland Prep. Something tells me
That
that
might be for wrestling, but no.
okay, I know Mr. DeSena is pretty, generous with his money, but he's not that generous, right? Um, but Buchanan, right, 860 is for the Clovis schools athletics, right?
Okay.
So
Yep.
so these numbers, it's really hard to pinpoint any of this stuff. But what's impressive to me is Sem's endowment is 32, and yet they're they're right at the top, if not at the top, every single year. How is that in a world of NIL, in a world of fundraising, how is that even possible?
So one, like we're targeting guys that see the value in the education and everything we do here. There's not there's like a misconception I think about like what we do. At least I'm not going to give out any kind of NIL deal package, right? If your parents have the means to pay something, like you have to see the value in the education and what we do here. Um, and if you don't have the means, obviously we do have resources to kind of get you in. So that's not a barrier. But like I want guys that see the value in the education. There's a lot of we're represented by 74, 74 different countries come to Wyoming Seminary. So We have a big porting population, and they pay full price just to come for the education, right? They're not athletes or anything like that. So I think it's important to get guys that see the value in that, only because of the next step, talking about college, stats and things like that. Like guys that are here just for wrestling, it's just not enough, right? And we already know that being old school, like if you're just focused on wrestling, not a lot of wrestlers turn out to be successful in life, right? Just because it's, whatever the nature of whatever. I mean, you can interpret that how you want, but so it's just like at some point, Jordan Burroughs, most storied career, really longevity, like he's only 40, right? And he's got to go live a whole nother life. So I want you to see the value in the education and that. So, we got to be able to travel all the big events so that those endowments come, and we do give out scholarships to some degree, kind of like Ivy, financial need based a lot of times. But you know, we have a lot of
Yeah.
resources to get to where we want, get training, get guys in. We're about to start our Fargo camp tomorrow. We have a lot of good alum and good guests coming in and stuff like that. So, it definitely helps for sure.
Yeah. So if you were okay, let's live in an alternate universe for a second. Marines takes you out somewhere, and now they plop you in the middle of wherever. Let's call it Alabama, somewhere that's not a wrestling mecca like PA is, right?
Hmm.
They drop you in the middle of Mississippi where they don't even have a high school state championship, I don't think, right? How do you plant a flag? How do you plant a flag and start something from scratch? Now, that's a hard deal, right? You've not had to do that, right? But if you were to have to do that tomorrow, what would it start with?
When I think like consistency, right? So we just started up. We had Excalibur, the club, going for a long time. We just recently opened up a new club called Grindhouse, PA Grindhouse. And it's like I think the first thing is like show up, be consistent, show you're going to be there, and start getting the guys to come in, find your like-minded individuals, and like just keep building from that and stay consistent, not get frustrated. I think a lot of instant gratification kind of comes to people and like they get frustrated or give up. And I think it's just consistency and standards. Obviously, as a Marine, I think that's like, right? They just have standards and you make the standards. So like creating an environment and a culture like that, uplifts people, but like, you got to start doing your part and meeting the standard and, just building it like that.
Consistency is one thing, but in order to compete at the level that you're at right now, there has to be some means as well. So
Sure.
what would your okay, so you just got to show up, keep building,
Yeah,
but
so I mean
what
that is first. That is first. Even
sure.
here, Gordon found his donor, right? He found his means. So it definitely is, networking, fundraising, um, the creating your system, creating your, uh, the behind the scenes guys, creating a staff, my coaching staff, pretty awesome actually. So Coach Ravelli, he's the OG here. He's been here for like 14 years. He works over at admissions. I wrestled him in high school. He's a state champ, a couple times state champ with the Hofstra under John Ryan, stuff like that. Great human though, like just a really good dude that's really good at wrestling. So like my whole staff, I just think that like being a role model is really important for these guys. So like all my whole staff is just great, great humans first and foremost. Just fortunate enough that they're actually really good at wrestling also. Coach Heck, his oldest son went here, coached him. He came on staff. He's been here like 9 years. Just a really, knowledgeable guy, coached a lot of college, national champs, things like that. So he's back. Coach Roberts is the first guy. He graduated for me back in 2020. Snagged him up, brought him back. My old junior high coach is on staff. Looking at bringing Coach Middage on. So like your coaching staff, right? The knowledge you have. All those guys, they give a lot, and I was on that side where you still have to work a job and then come in here and give all you got. And that's a huge part. So I think the coaching staff is big in that, right? Having like you said, the information and knowledge how to coach a high level athlete, right? It's different. We're getting a lot of different views. The guys are coming from all over, so like nothing's blanket, right? You can't coach. This is how we do things.
Sure.
This might be the standard, but how you get there might be different from guy to guy. So, um, Yeah, I
Yeah,
would say, building your system, getting your staff, getting your funding going, finding a school that supports you, right? Our school does a great job at supporting the student athlete. We travel a lot, and as long as they're communicating and doing their part on the students' end, like they're gonna help them, make sure that they can still travel and do all that, be a student athlete. So, um,
yeah.
yeah.
Okay, so you brought up the fact that you had a class of kids that were ranked really high in the country in high school that maybe didn't work out quite as well as you would have liked
Hmm.
at the college level. And you mentioned that you had a conversation with Coach Green and there were changes that were made, right?
Hmm.
What changes needed to be made in the way that you spoke to those kids to get them to the Luke Lilladals of the world right now?
So like I'm kind of a firm believer that like everybody wants to be great, right? Every human like you're chasing that. I think it's really easy now, especially in today's world, to like uh, find other things that can kind of take you off of like being okay with not doing what you're supposed to almost, right? Like that, like your cell phone. There's a lot of distractions out there that will just kind of take it like, it's okay that I didn't do that. But I do believe at like the core root, like everybody wants to be better than they were yesterday, and kind of just being again real with them in the sense of like it doesn't matter that you're the best high school guy in the country, right? We've had a bunch of them. Like the next level, there's levels to.
Nobody cares.
Or maybe that is your goals, right? Again, I go
Right.
goal setting is a big thing for me. Like, what are your goals? If your goal is to be the best high school wrestler, great, you check that box. But if you want to go to the next level and be the best wrestler there, like you're still got a lot of stuff to do. So just that entitlement, we really just try to keep that and keep them humble and hungry. Opposed to like egotistical and think that they've accomplished something when like again, it's all relative, right? Yeah, you're the best high school wrestler. Some guys would die for that, but your trajectory, you can go and be the best college wrestler, so, or senior level guy or whatever your dreams are. So, I think again, just that realization, goal setting, and keeping them humble, just at the end, which is hard. It's hard with a young guy that goes out there and whoops everybody and,
Yeah.
you know,
It
sometimes
can be
just,
difficult. Trust
yeah,
me. I got an 18-year-old in the house.
sure.
Keeping him
Yeah.
humble is
Yeah,
not easy. Keeping
exactly.
him humble. I'll head pinch him just to keep him humble.
Right. Every once in a while, they need to get head pinched and,
I
so
took him for four the other day. He was like, "What was that?" I'm like, "Look, man, you can't just dive in on a leg and expect you like not to get head
yeah.
pinched by somebody, you know?"
Even if
So
it works for you right now, right? Like that's like, yeah.
100%, dude. Like,
Oh,
and I get it. Like, so he's a goer, right? Like, he just wants to go, 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 go. I'm like, all right, keep coming, shoot, you know. And
right.
so, anyway, I digress. But listen, that you guys have done an amazing job of building really high level humans over there, and it's to be commended. So, Joel, before we get to our sprint, you got anything else for him?
Yeah, bring it home.
Bring it home. The man says, bring it
Right.
home. Don't bring it home. Coach, don't think too much about these answers. Just fire from the hip. What's the
Got it.
best wrestling shoe of all time?
Bone Garter. Bone Garter. I like
Ooh,
yeah.
yeah. Interesting. All right.
Yeah.
Anything you're reading right now? Give us a book recommendation. Doesn't have to be about wrestling.
So I read a lot of military stuff. So any kind of military, I'm reading a lot of that. It's always working my brain and getting ways. The Art of War, I have that open right now. I'm back into that. Just trying to, as a leader, I'm trying to, develop more. So I'd say Art of War right now. It's
Okay. I like it. Um, you only get four.
okay.
They got to be American. Who is on your Mount Rushmore of wrestling?
Mm. John Smith, Cale Sanderson, David Taylor, Jordan Burroughs.
Whoa, that's a pretty good list.
Yeah.
That's a pretty good list.
I think
Dave,
from like my era almost too, like guys that were really influential on me and like
sure.
really impacted wrestling, I feel like. So
Yeah, no, they impacted wrestling for sure, no question. All right, you get a magic wand. You get to change one thing about the sport of wrestling, and it changes immediately. What would it be?
no. That's a good one. Uh Mm. Can we get AI officiating?
Yes. Yes. I love it. Dude, we can't be far off. We can't be,
Every other sport's there, right? I feel like,
dude. It's like, look at what it's doing for baseball. It's
yeah.
amazing.
Yeah,
Like,
hockey. There was a lot of hockey. You saw it a lot in NHLs and stuff. It was good. Yeah.
dude, we gotta be close. Put an ankle band on each guy, and then ankle, maybe wristbands. Like, okay, hands are behind the, like, knees down.
Right.
That's three, like 100%. Dude, I think about that all the time.
Mhm.
I don't know if I'm supposed to be saying this, but okay, I'll leave it ambiguous. A good friend of mine who's a high level wrestling coach.
Mhm.
His brother is way up there in the Air Force, like way up there, and is developing a software on in his free time because he's like a super nerd too. Is developing a software where it'll score matches, and like I'm
Right.
like, dude, we need that tomorrow.
Right.
He's like, yeah, he's got NASA stuff too, though. I'm like, oh, dang it.
Yeah. Right.
I'm sorry.
Prioritize. Prioritize. Come on.
Yeah. But like, dude, we can't be far off from that.
Yeah. Yeah. I agree.
Like, take the human error out of this sport
Yeah.
completely. And you know what's funny is like, and I don't want to get off too much on a tangent, but
Mhm.
they don't pay the officials anything.
I found that. So I just found that out this year.
They
That blew
don't.
my mind. That blew my mind. And almost maybe it was like, because I'm kind of, I don't know if you're like, I'm kind of aggressive with officials. So like, it almost made me like reconsider, like, man, I gotta give these guys some slack. It's hour 12. These guys aren't even getting paid. They haven't like got a break or eight. Like maybe I shouldn't be so critical of them. But then it's like, there's a lot on the line. These guys work really hard. So it's like, I don't know.
Yeah,
But
think
yeah,
about the
that blew my
athletes.
mind. So
The
sorry. Yeah.
athletes don't get paid. Your athletes don't get paid either.
Ah,
Like,
good point. Yeah, good point.
so it's like, okay, we're all volunteers here. Like,
Is
Yeah, good
that
point.
is that state by state? I think some states pay their refs.
no, 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 no. We're talking about the international levels. Like,
Oh, oh,
Like
okay.
USA wrestling and all that. Yeah,
Fargo,
yeah.
Fargo
There is
paid
paid events, but yeah, no money.
zero
Yeah.
for officials to go there for a week in North Dakota. Like, it's
Yeah.
bananas. Like, what are we
Yeah.
even talking about? And you can
Yeah.
I can go on a tangent about that all day. But anyway, Coach, you're doing an amazing job out there, man. Thank
Yeah.
you so
Appreciate it,
much for
Mike.
spending some time with us. I really appreciate it.
Yeah, likewise. Appreciate it, Joel. Appreciate it, Mike.
All right, man. We'll
Get you
talk to you
guys
soon.
up here anytime.
All right. Sounds good to
We gotta
me.
work. Actually, that's what we gotta work. We gotta work that Cali. I can't stand that Cali isn't allowed to travel and can't come to Ironman and stuff like
It's
that. I
bananas.
hate that. That added such an element. They were really awesome getting to Ironman when Cali was there. Like it took like it feels different. It really truly does. So I think that's something we should try to work. Get that banded, get that taken off.
I would love that. It's funny when you guys were at the I don't know what they call it, the Hall of Fame duels a couple
Right?
years
Yeah, yeah.
back. I Myers we lost Poway lost in the semis, but we lost on criteria.
Right. I remember that's a Del Barton. Yeah.
Yeah, to Del
Yeah.
Barton. And Myers goes like this. He goes, listen, if we would have won, we would have closed the door. We would have kicked everyone out, and we would
Seriously.
have turned the streams off, and we would
Right.
have figured it out. And
Yeah.
and like, but it's nonsense that he can't compete. It's
Well, like
nonsense.
what I don't understand is like we aren't allowed to take any of our PGs. Like we don't travel to Ironman with PGs. Like they're all high school, PIAA high school kids. So,
Yeah.
but yeah,
And
yeah,
and
I
that's the case with
digress.
Blair too. That's not like they're bringing
No
any,
prep schools. Yeah, right.
you know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
whatever. Anyway, thank you
I
very much.
appreciate you guys. Yeah, absolutely.
All right, brother. We'll talk to you soon. Wait. Don't go anywhere before you hit that next button. If you enjoyed listening to this episode, do us a huge favor. Click that subscribe button. And if you're so inclined, leave a review and share it.